So climate change, what's going on with climate change at the moment?
Firstly, climate change can be defined as the drastic increase of carbon dioxide emissions being released into the air in high amounts, which is very harmful to the environment and causes drastic changes to sea levels, weather patterns, and heat rising and global warming.
Yeah, cool, that's right. And most people's view on it is that it's obviously a bad thing, which it sounds like a bad thing. But I think you've got slightly different views on it, haven't you? Am I right in saying that your view is that climate change is a real thing, but we're kind of over-emphasising our effect on it? There's more important things to think about.
Yes, George. Climate change is, in my opinion, overrated. As even if humans never existed in the first place, climate change will still happen. And although I may sound very controversial, what I'm saying is right. The government encourages us to do the following, such as invest in renewable energy and purchase electric cars. However, these products are expensive and ineffective.
But they're a good thing for pollution, though, aren't they?
You're wrong, George. Because electric cars are not only expensive and inefficient, but also when you charge them, the electricity. Where do you think electricity comes from?
It comes from the coal. You're right. Yeah.
It comes from the coal, and sometimes it comes from nuclear energy as well.
Yeah, that's
nuclear energy when nuclear energy is released, it produces nuclear waste, which cannot be used in any way whatsoever. So it's basically pollution.
So am I right in saying that the electric cars, the EVs, you've mentioned before that to make them, we're polluting the atmosphere in the factory straight away. We're causing young people to mine in third world countries for cobalt and that kind of thing, for the batteries. And you're also saying that the electric for the cars is actually supported by coal or nuclear, or very little of it by renewable energy like windmills and all. Is that your view?
Yes, George. The only logical reason for this is for the people in charge of creating electric cars, and the government is for personal financial gains, so they can become more richer.
Yeah. Okay, well that is an extreme view, and it may be right, it may be wrong, we'll have to wait and see. So just to recap, climate change, you're on the ball, you accept that the climate changing as it does for billions of years, but what you're saying is all this hype and all the rest of it is kind of doesn't feel right, because there's money at the back of it with carbon footprints and people having to pay, companies having to pay for their, to get a leaner carbon footprint. Is that right? Whether you
look at climate change or not, whether you think about humans contributing to climate change, is without a doubt the climate change will always exist. Whether you look at the Ice Age, which happened twice, and ever since. And scientists believe that ever since the Earth existed...
That's right, there was an mini ice age.
Two ice ages.
In the Victorian times, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 ice ages in fact.
2, okay.
And before the Earth, many years ago, when the Earth first existed, it used to exist as a ball of gas, like almost like the same atmosphere as like the planet Venus or a star.
Yeah. Well, that's another point, because there's climate change on Mars, isn't there? But there's no SUVs on there, is there, or factories?
Yeah.
So you could be onto something there. But it's a pleasure as always talking to you, and I like the fact that you've got your own independent view on that subject. That shows a good personality. So cheers for that, Junaid.
Thank you, George.